Good day, everyone. In this topic, I'll be sharing with you the different teaching approaches for the flexible learning or the limited face-to-face instruction. Let me introduce to you blended, hybrid, and high-flex learning as teaching approaches for limited face-to-face instruction and at the same time for flexible learning. Before going further, let us backtrack a little and recall the different mandates about the limited face-to-face and the flexible learning. We know that there are two mandates, and these are Joint Memorandum Circular number 1 and number 4. In this Joint Memorandum Circular, it highlighted the guidelines on the gradual reopening of campuses of the higher education institutions for limited face-to-face classes during COVID-19 pandemic. On the other hand, number 4 emphasizes on all programs of higher education institutions to go back to the limited face-to-face instruction. In this joint memorandum circular, limited face-to-face classes pertains to restricting the number of students to attend face-to-face classes in campus in any given day based on the degree programs or courses they are enrolled, cyclical students shifting or rotating schedule, and physical distancing and other safety protocol. In the same joint memorandum circular, there is also a provision that stated students who could not participate in the conduct of limited face-to-face classes shall continue to be governed by CMO number 4, and this pertains to the guidelines on the flexible learning as released by the Commission on Higher Education. In this case, the school shall institute or implement the necessary mechanism so that students who opted for flexible learning shall not be prejudiced. CHED also emphasizes that there is no turning back, that flexible learning will be the new normal. May I quote, "From now on, flexible learning will be the norm, and there is no going back to the traditional full pack face-to-face classroom. The Commission has adopted the policy that flexible learning will continue in school year 2021 and thereafter." It appears in several periodicals that CHED cannot require all schools to hold face-to-face classes. The CHED face-to-face not mandatory for universities and colleges. On the other hand, in the Department of Education, the Vice President in this periodical stated that DepEd looking to do 100% face-to-face classes in November. Recently, the Commission on Higher Education released series of 2022 an order number 9 on the updated guidelines on the implementation of face-to-face classes to prevent and mitigate COVID-19 infections in higher education. Flexible learning was highlighted. Flexible learning in the CMO refers to the pedagogical approach allowing flexibility of time, place, and audience, including but not solely focused on the use of technology. It involves the use of digital and non digital technology and covers both face to face or in person learning, out of classroom learning modes of delivery, or a combination modes of delivery. In the same guidelines, it also highlighted under the section on general guidelines or description that flexible learning in this context is defined as face to face learning, online learning, offline learning, or any combination of these three learning modalities. In this CMO, it is stated that discretion of the higher education institution to choose which learning modalities they could operationalize as long as there will be continuity of learning under any flexible learning modality. And we have to take note that learning continuity plan is a requirement in the implementation of flexible learning. In the provision, it stated that HEI shall institute or implement the necessary mechanism so that students who cannot participate in the conduct of face-to-face classes shall not be prejudiced. With this, I am introducing to you the different teaching approaches that can help us implement flexible learning and at the same time in a limited face-to-face instruction. We have to take note that according to the Commission on Higher Education, flexible learning is defined to whether it is face-to-face, online learning, or offline, or any combination of these three learning modalities. What I will be presenting to you are teaching approaches, and I call it technology enhanced flexible learning that will help us implement flexible and at the same time the limited face-to-face instruction. But we have to take note also that in the joint memorandum circular, it stated that or limited face-to-face refers to the number of students in a classroom. In another point of perspective, we can define limited face-to-face instruction as the number of times meeting in person our students inside the classroom. And that is where teaching approaches can be implemented, whether blended, hybrid, or high flex learning. So, what is blended learning? Blended learning happens in face to face sessions and online, with both modalities integrated into a cohesive learning experience. In blended learning, online materials and activities are meant to complement, supplement, and build on rather than replace the face to face time. On the other hand, hybrid learning, this is in contrast with blended courses or blended learning, where hybrid learning replaced much of the face to face time with online interaction. A significant portion of the courses take place online. In the hybrid learning also, online component can be synchronous or asynchronous. And last but not the least, the HyFlex learning. HyFlex learning combines the terms hybrid and flexible. Each class is offered in person, synchronously, and asynchronously online to provide a flexible experience and multiple modes of participation. Blended, hybrid, and HyFlex, these are the teaching approaches for technology enhanced flexible learning in the context of limited face to face instruction.